In this video, we're going to take a look at the completed Xiphon pattern Interceptor for my 30k Raven Guard Legion. Hi guys, Mike back again with a follow-up video for my Raven Guard this time. We're kind of flip-flopping between Death Guard and Raven Guard, but it's all 30k goodness, if that's what you're into. So, those of you that follow the channel will know that I've got a fairly substantial 30k Death Guard Legion that hasn't gone full Nurgle, but is traitorous nonetheless. And my plans were to create a Loyalist Legion, and I chose the Raven Guard because the complete antithesis, really, of the Death Guard. Where the Death Guard are slow and slogging and trudging and lots of foot-based stuff and maybe tanks and things like that. The Raven Guard, it's all about the speed. It's all about the flyers and their black armor, whereas the Death Guard are kind of white marbly armor, really rusted and weathered, whereas my Raven Guard are going for a very clean look. Again, I might go back and do weathering later, but I'm quite happy with the clean look and clean lines of the Raven Guard at the moment, at least anyway. So anyway, those of you that follow the channel, as I've already said, will know that the first thing that I was painting up with the Xiphon pattern Interceptor, which is now complete, and we shall bring it in. So this is she. Really happy with it. It came out really nicely. It was a lovely thing to build. Not many components, not many parts. It's basically two hull sections, a front and aft, fin, couple of wings, engine pod bits, these side bits here, the engine housings, cowlings, and then you got your front bits, your rear bits, some las cannons, cockpit, and and then deciding what you want to do with the feet, whether you want the landing gear down or up, and there's a missile pod underneath as well, and that's about it. So yeah, went together very nicely. No warping. Did I have to de-warp anything? I don't think I... Oh, I might have had to de-warp the las cannons slightly. But apart from that, no de-warping required whatsoever. And this is it. I'm really happy with it. Like I've said in the previous video, I wasn't going to paint the interior of the cockpit. So this comes clear, as you might imagine. So you can see inside, you can see the detailed interior of the Xiphon pattern Interceptor, along with a pilot. I didn't use the pilot either, so he's in the bits box. So yeah, that's the look I've gone for. And again, if you've watched the previous video, I had a bit of a ramble about viewing vehicles from afar and not being able to see through windscreens, and that windscreens actually look grey and black in the distance, and clearly you can't see people at distance through a windscreen. But I've gone for a blue, sort of shades of blue hues, and I think it just, I didn't want to do black and grey because the flyer's black and grey. Well, black highlighted black, and this is the kind of look I'm going for. So I went for a blue cockpit to kind of give it some contrast against the darkness of the Xiphon itself. But again, really happy with it. It's painted up very nicely, pretty much all through the airbrush, if I'm honest, and then edge highlighted. So my black recipe, for those of you that are interested, again, all through the airbrush. I prime the thing with Vallejo dark grey or Panzer grey. It's the dark grey they do. And then I've basically coat the whole thing in a Baden black through the airbrush. And then I bring up the highlights, basically. I do, what do I do? So I do Eschen grey, and then Mechanicus standard grey, and then Dawnstone, and then, what do I do then? Ulthuan grey. And they're the very kind of top highlights there. So then after I've done that, it looks quite severe. What I do then is that I mix up the Nuln Oil and the Lamium medium. I've tried to use other mediums. I've used kind of some Winsor & Newton mediums, and my results haven't been good. I've had a really kind of tacky finish, and it didn't dry properly. I don't know if it's something I did. But anyway, I'm sure there are other mediums out there that you could mix with with Nuln Oil to really thin it out. but not water it down. So you want it thin, but not watered down, hence the medium. And basically loads of coats. Just keep going. Loads of coats through the airbrush. I probably did about 6 or 7 coats of the Nile Oil medium mix, just to bring the really severe highlights down. And again, I tried to highlight sort of the raised sections, the front sections, the edges. And then after that, I went in and did an edge highlight with Ulthuan Grey. Ulthuan? I'm not pronouncing that correctly, I know. You know the one. Ulthuan Grey. Is that what it's called? Anyway, so that one. So it's the same colour as my top highlight on the edge highlights, but all of the airbrushed stuff had been brought back down with a Nile Oil medium mix, just to give it that. I mean, it looks quite bright under the light of the camera, but if I don't use the light of the camera, you can't really see it, so it's kind of giving it a bit of a false perspective. But even under the camera, actually, it looks all right. And then, so that was it. And then went in with detail, and then did all the detail stuff with the brush. So you can see where the edge highlighting is. So I've caught all of the raised edges, put the cockpit on to give it a bit of contrast, and then painted up the las cannons and the lenses on the fronts there and on the wings. Painted up the turbines, and then we've got the rear. So I've given it a bit of a glowy effect on the jets. We'll go and have a look underneath. I've not gone so mad on the underside with the edge highlighting, etc. This does come out, but I don't want to. No, it does come out. Does come out. It's quite a tight fit. So that's the underside. Again, didn't go mad with the edge highlighting under here because, well, you know, you're not going to see it. And then we've got our missile pods underneath, and then the base. Yeah, basically, I wanted to kind of get an Istvan vibe. Of a kind of black blasted ruined base, and I've used half of a rhino, sort of blown out. Painted the stem black. I like that. I know, you know, your mileage may vary and all that, and you might not be keen on the painted stem. You might want to keep that clear, but I quite like it black. I'm just trying to get it back on its stand. Okay, nope, that's the wrong way. No, it's. Now it's in dive mode. If you put it on the wrong way, it sort of dips down and it's in sort of dive mode. There we go. So that's what it. Okay, so yeah, kind of a black charred battlefield is the look I was going for. All bombed out, you know, like I say, a bit of a rhino there and it flying over. And I think the black stem. I think I prefer it, but you know, again, you know, that's personal preference. Yeah, and then basically finished off with the decals from the Forge World Raven Guard transfer sheet, decal sheet. So we've put a 19 up on the fin, and Raven Guard symbol on the other side. We've got double Raven Guard iconography on the wing, which again flatted out really nicely. They're very, very nice. I mean, you can't see that is a transfer, can you? You can't see. Well, yeah, just about. Under the right light, you can see the edges of that transfer. But I mean, they went on very, very nicely. And again, my transfer technique is to soak the transfer in warm water, cover the area I want to put the transfer on with a softener. I use the Vallejo ones. There's a decal softener and a decal fixer. I use the softener on the area I want to apply the transfer, put the transfer on, get it in the right position, dry it off with a bit of paper towel or a dry brush, quite a large brush just to soak up any excess water. And then I use the fixer over the whole area. So there's no kind of paint sort of differentiation of colouring. So because you paint the fixer on, and if you just did it in the area, it could potentially discolour just the area. So I painted it over the whole of this panel, so the whole panel is affected by the fixer. So if there's any colour changes or variation, it all kind of ties in. And similarly with this bit, I painted the fixer on the whole of the fin. And with this bit here, Victorus aut mortis is, what does that mean? It means vengeance or death. No, victory or death. Victory or death. Victory or death. Yes, I'm still getting up to speed with Raven Guard iconography and sayings and all that sort of stuff. But yeah. Anyway, so that's it. Xiphon pattern Interceptor. Really happy with it. Really happy with it. I'm pleased with my black. I like the way that's come out, and I'm going to do, that's what my Raven Guard army is going to look like. It's going to be this sort of black. So yeah, really happy with it. Really keen to get some more flyers. I've got all sorts of ideas now. So I'm going to do I'm a 15-man assault squad. I'm going to do some 10-man tactical squads in drop pods, and again, drop pod will be same colouring. I want to get a Storm Eagle and put some Tartarus pattern Terminators in it. I want to get a Fire Raptor just because, and possibly a lightning flyer. But yeah, I mean, I just really like the look at this. I just you know, it might even get another Xiphon potentially. It was just really nice, and a couple of these zooming across the battlefield I think would be quite cool. So right, now I've done the video, it can go in the cabinet. And again, those of you that saw previous video where I emptied some cabinets out will know that I've got an empty cabinet for my Raven Guard. So that's where it's going. Next. Any questions, queries, comments, let me know. Other than that, I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers, guys.